Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I want to talk about Charles Payne putting his money where his mouth is and buying some AMC. I also want to talk about the highest inflation data ever released on record. So stay tuned and let's make some money. And now I want to dive straight in with the key information. So, Charles Payne recently interviewed Matt Kohrs and Trey's Trades, where he admitted that he's just bought some AMC. So not only is he standing from the sidelines and supporting the apes in our journey, but he's now become an ape himself. Corey tweeted saying Charles Payne announced that he bought AMC and GameStop today. Hell yeah, Charles. And Charles replied saying, I'm in out of respect for the community. I've got this video here where Charles Payne does talk a little bit more about it. But first, I think Charles Payne might actually watch the Thomas James Investing channel. Not only are we here to stay tuned and make some money, but so is Charles Payne, it seems. So let's hear what Charles Payne had to say.
Suzanne's question, do you both 100% believe that this MOAS is coming for AMC and GameStop? I mean, in your heart of hearts, do you see this happening one day?
For me personally, I am putting my own hard-earned money, the same as you two, into this movement. I very much believe in what the Ape Nation has 100% become, because all of a sudden it started out on this forum on social media, but now it's grown to the point that we're sitting here right now talking about fixing the market and talking about potentially some of the illicit, nefarious nature going on with AMC and GME. So my bet with my own money is on the apes and true market reform.
Trey?
I believe not just in the MOAS itself, but what that stands for. I think if you were to just
tell
look
us what
this,
it stands for.
It stands for market transparency, Charles. I mean, what are y'all talking about, right? It's about the problems that exist and that get pushed down our throats every single day. And what AMC is going to, I think, go beyond is just this stock. It's let's fight for other securities. Let's fight for more regulations to come out and sort of fix the problems that are laid out in front of us. You know.
And what I would say, in my opinion, is this: that I've been in the market a long time, and I regret the stocks that I've sold in my lifetime more than the names I've held that went to zero. I've had stocks that have gone to zero, but I regret the ones I let go that I believed in, maybe for its profit, maybe for a loss. So it doesn't happen overnight. And in this particular case, you've got nefarious forces that don't want it to happen. So it might be even harder. Ultimately, I think it's going to be up to management to perform, but they've got an amazing shareholder base.
So obviously not only are we here to make some money, but we're also here for market reform and to stop nefarious and illegal activity. Moomoo today have just released their biggest promotion they've ever offered. Moomoo are now giving away 5 free stocks valued up to $3,500 each. You could potentially get 5 free shares of Amazon just for signing up with Moomoo and depositing at least $100. This is Moomoo's biggest ever giveaway of free shares, so if you haven't already signed up to Moomoo, I think now is the perfect opportunity. That's a whopping $17,500 you could possibly receive for signing up with Moomoo, which is enough for 437 free shares of AMC. I also wanted to recap and explain a little bit more on the spring theory. The spring is compressed fully and has to move. So below is a simplified version of my short squeeze spring theory, but there is a more descriptive graphic in that post. So this is obviously what's been happening to the AMC price over the last few months. We've been trading in this tight range between June and now November. We've been trading in this range, moving up and down, up and down, up and down, getting tighter and tighter and tighter, just like this spring coiling up. You can obviously see the buying pressure force is pushing us up and up and up, causing us to set higher lows each and every time. Obviously, you do still have the shorting pressure trying to hold us down below that 70 mark, and then below that $55 mark, and now obviously below the $45 mark. But then when the volume returns to AMC, and it is already starting to return, you're going to see this buying pressure continuing to press up, and therefore the bottom of the spring will be our new low. As the buying pressure continues to push upwards, we will eventually beat that shorting pressure and the spring will explode, forcing itself upwards. This will obviously take us into cycle 3, setting new highs far, far above that $70 previous high. But obviously the bulls and bears are still fighting. AMC broke out of that bull flag on Friday and obviously on Monday, but then was pushed back inside that flag on Tuesday due to the earnings. But we are at that critical level of compression and the spring is ready to launch in the squeeze phase. but it won't until the short pressure or buying pressure gives out. But we know there's almost a zero chance in the buying pressure giving out because apes continue to buy the stock and the shorts have to cover. Not only do the apes continue to buy the stock, but we also need to continue to hold the stock as well. And the reason why it will be the shorts giving out first and not the apes is because of the Wyckoff accumulation. What happens in this Wyckoff accumulation pattern is we have tons and tons of shorts joining the picture right here in this range here. Now we've obviously seen that for a long time throughout 2019 and 2020, but we've also saw it more recently back in July and August when we dipped below the $30 mark very briefly and hung around the low 30s range for some time. You can obviously look at AMC and say that this has obviously come down from $70 and this is where we were hanging around $30 and dipped briefly below at $29. There were tons and tons of shorts joining the party here because they thought AMC was going back to $10 or even below. But now we've pushed out of that range of low 30s. Yes, we did push up to this range of $45, but then got dragged down back to around $39. But importantly, we're in this accumulation range. In this accumulation range, the longs and the apes are adding to their position, and the shorts are just continuing to be underwater, paying all those expensive fees. Yes, don't forget the short borrowing fee is only 1%, so fairly low, but the transaction fees to continue kicking the can and resetting those failure to delivers is very expensive. And that's what the shorts are continuing to do and have done for some months already. The accumulation stage is caused by increased institutional demand. Bulls are slowly gaining power, and as a result, they are poised to push the price higher. Although the accumulation stage is related to the bulls gaining authority, the price action on the chart is flat. Yes, the price action may be flat, but the shorts are continuing to lose money day after day after day, and the apes are becoming more and more confident, and more interest and volume is returning to AMC the longer we hold over that $35–40 region. And I also wanted to quickly touch on Cat Striker's latest tweet. Breaking news. The company I work with told me to announce the project because they aren't afraid of Ken Griffin's lawyers. We are going to have 4 mobile billboards strategically planted for 8 hours for the Macy's Day Parade. And they will also caravan down Times Square as well. So Kat is continuing her advertisement campaign for AMC live in New York City. And I also wanted to quickly touch on just how much of a joke the current market is and the amount of illegal activity that's really going on. Robinhood announced a massive data leak and terrible earnings and only dropped 2.5%. AMC announced an NFT future, that they're accepting numerous cryptos, and they also smashed the earnings out of the park, and yet AMC is down 10%. But obviously, as you can expect, it's because the analysts have somehow turned this incredible news into bad news. AMC Q3 Earnings Breakdown. The theatre chain grew a little too much in the US, an analyst says. I personally don't really know how growing too fast can be a problem. Yes, if a small tech startup grows too fast, they might find themselves running out of cash and being put into liquidation because they can't afford to pay suppliers. But AMC is not a small tech startup and AMC is not running out of cash. AMC have around $1.8 billion in cash liquidity ready to go. And therefore, from AMC's perspective, growing too fast simply does not exist. And I also wanted to talk about the October inflation data that's literally just being released as I'm making this video. The Wall Street Journal posted this article saying US inflation is likely to hit a 3-decade high in October. Economists surveyed by the Wall Street Journal estimate the Labour Department will report the Consumer Price Index rose by 5.9% in October. That marked the fastest pace since 1990 and the 5th straight month in which inflation topped 5%. You can see here, looking at this table of inflation data all the way back to 2001, and we can see the highest inflation we've seen in recent times was obviously back in 2008 when we hit 5.6% inflation. In 2008, we did also have some other high months at 5%, 5.4%, 4.9%, and so on. Obviously, in 2021, right now, we've been replicating some very similar figures. We've seen 5.4%, and we've not just seen 5.4% for 1 month, but we've seen it for 3 months in June, July, and in September. We've also seen 5.3% in August, 5% in May, and some other high figures like April as well. But the October data is set to put all of those figures in 2021 to shame, but also all of those figures in 2008 to shame as well. It will be the highest inflation we've seen since the 90s. And finally, the Chinese developer Fantasia's stock was unfrozen after a month-long halt, and it was unfrozen to a whopping 50% decline. We can see that the Fantasia stock is down 36.6% today at the close, but at the open, it did open down a whopping 50% after that halt. Guys, be sure to let me know down in the comments below what you think about Charles Payne joining the apes and buying some AMC and GameStop, and also what you think about these new massive inflation figures. And if you haven't already, be sure to sign up to Moomoo to get those 5 free stocks worth up to $3,500 each, linked in the description below. And as always guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out some of my others. Alternatively, subscribe to the channel and ding that notification bell, because that way you'll be alerted when I upload a new video. Cheers.